morning students. Hope you all are fine and safe. Learn your portions regularly. Okay. If you have to clarify any doubt regarding your subject, you can come to school. I will be available on every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. Now we are talking about environmental issues. In that we had studied about greenhouse gas effects, global warming, then ocean depletion, and also we had studied about different kinds of forestry, then biodiversity conservation, endemic plants. Now let's discuss some techniques to reduce the rate of carbon dioxide entering the atmosphere.
First one is carbon capture and storage, CCS. Carbon capture and storage is a technology of capturing carbon dioxide and injects it deep into the underground rocks into the depth of 1 kilometer or more, and it is an approach to mitigate, that is reducing global warming by capturing carbon dioxide from large point sources such as industries and power plants and subsequently storing it instead of releasing it into the atmosphere. Various safe sites have been selected for permanent storage in various deep geological formations, liquid storage in the ocean, and solid storage by reduction of carbon dioxide with metal oxide to produce stable carbonates. It is also known as geological sequestration, which involves injecting carbon dioxide directly into the underground geological formations such as declining oil fields, gas fields, saline aquifers, and unminable coal have been suggested as a storage sites. Next one is carbon sequestration. Carbon sequestration is the process of capturing and storing carbon dioxide, which reduces the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere with a goal of reducing global climate change. Carbon sequestration occurs naturally by plants and in ocean. Terrestrial, that is land sequestration, is typically accomplished through forest and soil conservation practices that enhances the storage carbon. Next one is carbon footprint. Every human activities leaves a mark just like a footprint. This carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouse gases produced by human activities such as agriculture, industries, deforestation, waste disposal, burning fossil fuels directly or indirectly. It can be measured for an individual, family, organization like industries, state level or national level. It is usually estimated and expressed in equivalent tons of carbon dioxide per year. The burning of fossil fuel releases carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. In turn, these emissions trap solar energy and thus increase the global temperature, resulting in ice melting, submerge of low-lying areas, and imbalance in nature like cyclones, tsunamis, and extreme weather conditions. To reduce the carbon footprint, we can follow some practices like eating indigenous fruits and products. For example, if we buy imported fruit like kiwi, indirectly it increases CFP, that is carbon footprint, because the fruit has traveled a long distance in shipping or airliner, thus emitting tons of carbon dioxide. Then reduce use of electronic devices, reduce traveling, do not buy fast and processed packed food, plant a garden, less consumption of meat and seafood, then reduce use of laptop. For example, if we use 8 hours, it releases nearly 2 kg of carbon dioxide annually. Next is biochar. Biochar is another long-term method to store carbon. To increase plants' ability to store more carbon, plants are partly burnt, such as crop waste, waste woods to become carbon-rich, slow decomposing substances of material called biochar. Biochar is a stable solid rich in carbon and can endure in soil for thousands of years. Like most charcoal, biochar is made from biomass through pyrolysis. What do you mean by pyrolysis? Heating biomass in low oxygen environment, which arrests wood from complete burning. Biochar thus has potential to help mitigate or minimize climate change through carbon sequestration. Independently, biochar when added to soil can increase soil fertility of acidic soils, increase agricultural productivity and provide protection against from foliar and soil-borne diseases. It is a good method of preventing waste woods and logs getting decayed. Next topic is rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is the accumulation and storage of rainwater for reuse inside rather than allowing it to run off. Rainwater harvesting is a sustainable water management practice implemented not only in urban area but also in agricultural fields, which is an important economical cost-effective method for the future. Environmental benefits of rainwater harvesting. It promotes adequacy of underground water and water conservation, mitigates the effect of drought, reduces soil erosion as surface runoff is reduced, reduces flood hazards. It improves groundwater quality and water table and decreases salinity. No land is wasted for storage purpose and no population displacement is involved. Storing water in underground is an eco-friendly measure and a part of sustainable water storage strategy for local communities. Next is environmental impact assessment. It is an environmental management tool. It helps to regulate and recommended optimal use of natural resources with minimum impact on ecosystem and biotic communities. It is used to predict the environmental consequences of future proposed developmental projects, example river projects, dams, highway projects, taking into account interrelated socio-economic, cultural and human health impacts. Benefits of environmental impact assessment, EIA. It gives a healthier environment, maintenance of biodiversity, decreased resource usage, reduction in gas emission and environment damage. Next one is biomonitoring. It is the act of observing and assessing the current state and ongoing changes in ecosystem, biodiversity components, landscape including natural habitats, populations and species. An agricultural drone is an unmanned aerial vehicle applied to farming in order to help increase crop production and monitor crop growth. Agricultural drones let farmers see their fields from the sky. This bird's eye view can reveal many issues such as irrigation problems, soil variation, and pest and fungal infestations. It is also used for cost-effective, safe method of spraying pesticides and fertilizers, which proves very easy and non-harmful. Next is BIA, that is Biodiversity Impact Assessment. It can be defined as a decision supporting tool to help biodiversity inclusive of development, planning and implementation. It aims at ensuring development proposals which integrate biodiversity considerations. Biodiversity impacts can be assessed by change in land use and cover of biodiversity, fragmentation and isolation of biodiversity, extraction of biodiversity, external inputs such as emissions, effluents and chemicals, introduction of invasive, alien or genetically modified species, impact on endemic and threatened flora and fauna. Forest cover monitored through remote sensing and geographic information system, that is GIS. GIS is a computer system for capturing, storing, checking and displaying data related to positions on Earth's surface. It also to manipulate, analyze, manage and present special or geographic data. GPS. What is the full form for it? Global Positioning System. It is a satellite navigation system used to determine the ground position of an object. GPS is currently being used for around the world, including mining, aviation, surveying, agricultural and marine ecosystem. Importance of GIS, Geographic Information System. It assists environmental impact, disaster management, estimation of flood damage, management of natural resources, soil mapping, wetland mapping, irrigation management and identification of volcanic hazard, and also used for vegetation studies and mapping of threatened and endemic species. Remote sensing is the process of detecting and monitoring the physical characteristic of an area by measuring its reflected and emitted radiation at a distance from the targeted area. It is a tool used in conservation of large area of vegetation and wildlife. Specific uses of remote sensing. It helps predicting favorable climate for the study of spreading of disease and controlling it. Mapping of forest fire and species distribution. Tracking the patterns of urban area development and the changes in farmland or forests over several years. And also used for mapping ocean bottom and its resources. Here given some name of the satellites, year of launch and its applications. SCAT Sat-1. It is launched in the year September 2016. It is for weather forecasting, cyclone prediction and tracking services in India. Another one satellite, INSAT-3DR, launched in the year September 2016, that is for disaster management. Then Cartosat-2 launched in the year January 2018 for Earth observation. Another one Cartosat-2 100th satellite that also launched in the same year to watch border security. Then GSAT-6A March 2018, that is for communication. These are all about geographic information system. Let's recall now. Mitigation of carbon in the atmosphere done in the form of sequestration. Rainwater harvesting is done for improving the groundwater table. Importance and location of lakes in Tamil Nadu, which aids water supply to the city in measure of conservation of drinking water. Assessment of environment and biodiversity helps to study risk analysis and disaster management. Forest cover is monitored through remote sensing and geographic information system. Thank you.